Here's something that you may or may not know about me. I hate going to the doctor. It's very few and far between that I will actually go to a doctor's office for myself. There are times when I have to because I'm so sick and medicine that I take over the counter just doesn't do the trick. But if I can avoid it, I do. I don't like going to the doctor's office. I remember going, though, about 5 years ago. It was one of those moments where I had something going on in me and I didn't know what it was, and I knew I wouldn't be able to figure it out, and pain medicine just wasn't taking care of it. So I went to the doctor and they gave me a few tests and they poked me with some needles, and the nurse came back into the room that I was in and asked me the question, "Are you diabetic?" And I said, "No, I'm not diabetic. Why would you ask me such a question?" And she said, "Well, I think that you are. We tested your blood sugar and it was really high, and we're concerned about this." And that was something that I was concerned about too. I didn't want to be defined by a disease. I didn't want to have diabetes in my life and have that something that was hanging over my head all the time. So as soon as they said, "You might be diabetic," I said, "I'm going to beat this." And I went on a diet and I started exercising. I lost about 60 pounds in 3 months, which is absolutely ridiculous to do. But I did it because I didn't want to be defined by diabetes. And so for years I took care of myself and I maintained an appropriate weight and I kept my blood sugar down, but eventually I got to that point where I stopped caring quite as much. And I didn't care what I ate, and I really didn't care if I checked my blood sugar. And so just a few weeks ago, I got inclined to pull out the blood glucose meter. And I checked my blood sugar, and it was a little bit higher than what it should have been. And the reason that I tell you this is because I had that moment where I was checked out, that moment where I was examined by a doctor, and I took care of myself because I saw what the problem was. But over time, I forgot about the problem. And it took me just checking it again to take care of things. I'm on a diet again. I'm starting to lose weight. I've got my blood sugar under control, but I needed that examination. And that's the same thing we need in our life with God. In that walk we have with Him, we need to have periods of examination. In Psalm 139, it says, "Lord, I want you to search my heart. I want you to know everything about me. I want you to know the things that I think about, the things that I say, the things that I do, the way that I treat people. God, I want you to know all of those things. I want you to come in, and I want you to change that about me. I want you to see if there's anything that shouldn't be in my life. And God, I want you to get rid of it." And the psalmist knew that God knew all that stuff anyway. But the interesting thing is that the psalmist said, "God, I want you to come in. I need you to examine my life." And we need God to do that for us. We need God to come into our lives and come into our hearts and look around and see if there's anything that shouldn't be there. I hope that you take the time to do that. I hope that you don't wait so long and get wrapped up into sin and tangled up in it that you lose your way. I want you to take time to examine your spiritual life. Examine who you are and who you're living for. On our church website, I've put a spiritual checkup for you to take. It's like an exam where you can read some questions and fill in your own answers. It's a very important thing to take, and it's a very important thing to do. So if you go onto our website, the link is www.avonlightandlife.org. And if you click on the youth page, scroll down and you're going to see some forms. It's called the Spiritual Checkup. All you have to do is click on it, open it up, and read the questions, answer the questions, take it seriously, because this is about your life with God and becoming a better Christian, getting closer to Him. And one of my other favorite scripture verses is that when we draw close to God, God will draw close to us. So use this spiritual checkup to draw close to God. Invite Him into your heart. Invite Him into your life. Let Him look around and let Him change you. So what are you waiting for? Go to the website right now, fill out the spiritual checkup, and to improve your walk with God. I'll see you later.